I think that finance is another resource, right? It's like the water that we drink, the water that we use. And unfortunately, finance is one that it's not the most interesting topic it's not the most interesting resource to discuss. However, it is one of the most human of our needs, right? It's how we operate in a free market society.
Welcome to Business Ninjas, brought to you by WriteForMe, where you'll hear from business leaders who are out there growing their business and slaying it every day. Learn from the masters. Let's get started.
Hey, everybody, welcome back for another episode of Business Ninjas. I'm here today with Emily Doxford. She's the Vice President of Marketing and Strategic Communications at Lone Mantra. Emily, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Kelsey. I'm happy to be here with you.
Yeah, excited to have you. So, Emily, why don't you start and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So, like you said, I am the Vice President of Marketing and Strategic Communications at Lone Mantra, which is a mouthful. Lone Mantra is a financial technology company and a financial advisory. So, what we do and the problem that we're solving for essentially is pairing small business borrowers or owners with lenders. We've realized that small business owners are incredibly gifted at what they do, at running companies, but it can be a very daunting task to find the capital, to access the capital, to grow their businesses. So that's where we come in.
I love that. Tell me a little bit more about Lone Mantra and how the company got started.
Sure. So I'll start with how it got started. 10 years ago, our founder left the world of investment banking and capital markets and decided that he was really interested in thinking through the questions and problems of the small business borrower and the small business owner. He himself is the son of entrepreneurs. He was really interested in just how he could help them have better access to capital. So he started a financial advisory and moved from New York City to Charleston. About 5 years ago, I came onto the scene. And at this point, we've developed a financial technology platform and again, grown our advisory. We're really invested in reaching small business borrowers and in helping them grow their businesses.
I love that. I love that. Walk me through a little bit more about, how the approach that Lone Mantra takes to helping its clients with their financial needs. Is there a certain, way that separates Lone Mantra from its competition?
Sure. So I think we pride ourselves on a few things. First of all, we are high tech. We have a platform that makes things really efficient and seamless for borrowers, for lenders, for any other vendors, an accountant, an attorney who are working on a loan package to do that together and to do that in a really safe ecosystem. So that's number one, right? Everyone wants to make things as simple as possible. It's really nice when you can apply for capital or work through your loan package when you are on vacation. I mean, not that anyone really wants to be doing that on vacation, but you could if you needed to, right? It's accessible and it's easy. I think the second part of that, the answer to your question is that we are high touch. So we are a company of experts who really are invested in our clients and in connecting borrowers with the right lender, to a lender who has the right credit box for the right loan products for their needs. And we ourselves are a minority-owned business. So my entire team is female, and our founder is Southeast Asian. And I think really thinking through the questions of those who historically have been underbanked is also incredibly important to us.
I love that. And when we're talking about under banking, that's an interesting term that I haven't necessarily heard. And I'd say I like it, but I hope no one's underbanked, but I like that, I appreciate the term. Talk to me a little bit about, do you tend to see trends in your clients? I know you mentioned small to medium-sized businesses, maybe looking towards a preference towards those that may be underserved, underbanked. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Sure. I think that that is at the heart of our mission in so many ways, is allowing every borrower to lending for all, right? Allowing every borrower to find prudent, meaning safe capital. So we want to protect a borrower from taking a payday loan. By that, it's the, oh, okay, I need a quick injection of capital. I need quick cash, but I'm going to be paying 5 times what the initial loan was for. And it's that payday is coming up quickly. We want people to be able to steadily grow their businesses in a good way. And to your point, Kelsey, unfortunately, there have been way too many segments that have historically been left out of the capital continuum. So that's a question we think about a lot. It's what we're hoping that our technology and our expertise can solve for.
So it sounds too like not only are you able to pair these small to medium-sized businesses with, the right loans for them, but it also sounds like a lot of what you're doing is education as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, talk to me a little bit about that.
Sure. So I think that finance is another resource, right? It's like the water that we drink, the water that we use. And unfortunately, finance is one that it's not the most interesting topic it's not the most interesting resource to discuss. However, it is one of the most human of our needs, right? It's how we operate in a free market society. And so being able to humanize what's a small business borrower needs, what they're going to use a loan for, is really, really interesting. And then thinking through, like, hey, you've grown this incredible restaurant. What does that look like? How did you do it? How did this capital help you? To me, is one of the most sort of interesting parts of what we do.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic. And I imagine your role, as vice president of marketing and strategic communications really pulls in that education piece to help build out the brand, and reach those people that in those small to medium sized businesses who may be underbanked. Is that true?
That's exactly right. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly right.
Talk to me a little bit about how you've been able to do that and what that looks like.
Sure. So our business model is interesting in that we are direct to borrower, right? We're dealing a lot with a large client base of small business operators, and that can look like anything. It can be someone who's running a gas station in Indiana to a restaurateur in New York City. A lot of different businesses, business sizes, business types and industries. We're also working with lenders. So and financial institutions who are deploying this capital, and we're sort of serve as the hub in the middle, connecting the right borrower to the right lender. And to your point, educating both along the way of this sort of simple principle of know your client, know your borrower, and know your lender, right? We've got to know all of them well so that we can make sure that it's a fluid, it's a good match and a good loan.
That's fantastic. And I'm curious to pick your brain a little bit. Talking about common misconceptions, do you tend to see anything often in the industry, maybe from, first time, looking for people that are looking for capital and for the first time, or, buyers, whatnot. Any misconceptions that you tend to hear often?
That's a great question. What immediately comes to mind for me, and I'm not sure it's a misconception as much as it is just something to note. I will say that younger borrowers are really interested in using a fintech platform, right? We use Venmo, We use PayPal. We use any number of platforms to sort of operate and oversee our finances. And so the adoption of technology makes a lot of sense. Our older generation of borrowers still feels very invested in this idea of, I want to be able to go into a bricks and mortar institution and talk to my banker and get advice in a certain way about scaling my business, about this particular loan type. And uh, it's interesting to me, and maybe the misconception here is that we need a little bit of both. We maybe don't have the bricks and mortar bank on the site in every community in the US anymore, but we still need to be able to access that type of advice from a trusted advisor. And to what we're learning from younger borrowers, we want that seamless adoption of, I want to collaborate in real time on a loan package with technology that makes this as seamless and as frictionless as possible.
That's a really interesting observation. And I imagine a lot of the work that you're doing on the marketing side is meeting kind of both of those needs and saying, we can we can do both of that for you, and building out those education resources to be able to say, let's turn to Loan Mantra when you're looking for that advice, when you're looking for guidance on how to continue to grow and scale, and looking at next steps.
That's it. I think that's exactly right.
That's fantastic. Well, Emily, I think this has been a terrific conversation. As we start to wrap up, is there anything that you want to leave our listeners with, whether it be advice, anything about, the industry, loan mantra, anything that you want to leave our listeners with?
Oh, well, thank you for asking. I think reach out if you have any questions. If you are a small business borrower, if you want to grow a business or start a business, we want to know you. We want to get to know what you're up to. And we are always here to deploy financial advice. And please reach out.
That's terrific. Well, Emily, thank you so much for taking the time to, break down loan mantra. I think it was a really interesting observation about the generational differences. I think that was very interesting. And I just really appreciate you being on Business Ninjas today.
Yeah, thanks, Kelsey.
Great to have you.